Jen eats good. If you were to really like
Shout out
phonetically
to
send
Jen.
it out.
You're not watching this,
And
but if you do,
you're
thank
going to
you.
see a lot.
Welcome to the Sunday Reset. I'm Jen.
And I'm Jill.
And today we're talking about one of our favorite money moves, some super simple spring recipes, and why we're so dang frugal and how you can be too.
So every Monday we do a money move to help you organize and optimize your finances. And if you want to see all of our money moves all in one place, follow Weekly Money Move on Instagram and get our friend letter. The link is in the description below. It's free. It comes to your inbox every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and every Monday we'll have that weekly money move in that newsletter as well.
And this week's money move is cancel something. This was also one of my favorite videos to record for the Weekly Money Move Instagram. So really, we want you to cancel something, anything. Now that you've done your 90-day transaction inventory, you can identify something to cancel. And we're going to talk about what we canceled. I went for streaming services. So I looked at our streaming services and I went to cancel Hulu. And then they gave me a $3 a month promo for 6 months.
Uh-oh, that's how they get you.
I know. So I decided to keep it for 6 months more. So then I was like, I have to cancel something. What I did was I went in and canceled Peacock. Even though I pay for it annually, I went in and I canceled it to make sure it wasn't going to auto renew. Okay. So I think that's a good tip. Go in and try to cancel some things and see if there are any like cancellation promos. Literally yesterday, I went to cancel something for Frugal Friends and I got to the very end and they offered me an extra year for free. So I was like, okay, I'll keep it for another year and see what happens.
This is where having reminders in our phone can be really helpful. All you've got to do is set up that reminder for this is when this free trial is ending, or this is when this 1-year subscription is ending. Either cancel it or remember that it's happening in order to renew it. Because otherwise they are banking on you forgetting by giving you, a 2-week free trial, a 7-day free trial, or 1 more year for whatever. But if we're able to just quickly set a reminder in our phone to alert us when that time frame comes, then we can be really on top of things without actually having to be on top of things.
And this is the perfect week. The cancel something week is the perfect time to go in and cancel all those annual subscriptions you're not going to keep, because they have to let you ride out what you've paid for. So it's not like you're canceling it immediately, but you won't get accidentally charged for it. We've all been there.
I love it as a hack for just saving money. Instead of canceling, it's kind of a negotiating it.
Right.
Pretend you're going to cancel it. See what they do for you.
Exactly.
Mine was canceling my medical. I've got a medical sharing plan. And because neither Eric or I have medical insurance through our jobs, this is my job. Frugal Friends doesn't pay my medical.
Your employer doesn't offer medical.
Oopsies. I am my own employer though. So, okay, it's my choice.
It's the worst boss.
So we've talked about medical sharing plans. We did a podcast episode on it. We've also talked about it in the newsletter. We'll keep talking about them. If you've never heard of them, they can be a really great option for people.
We both use them, but different ones.
Yes. So I canceled the one that I was on, but I did get another medical sharing plan. So this was kind of me shopping around and finding lower rates for better kind of coverage. So I think it still counts. I canceled the one. I got another one, but it's less money.
Yeah.
So
absolutely still counts. You canceled something.
Yes, I did.
It's really just an initiative week to put into practice what we may have been putting off, like knowing I need to cancel this because I know there's a better rate out there. I need to cancel this so they don't charge me. I need to cancel this to see if I can get a better rate. It's all that.
I like this too because it's almost that first step to negotiating, or can be a step. Negotiating will be, I'm sure, a money move in the future.
Yes.
But if you don't quite have your negotiating muscles built up yet, just straight up canceling can be a
Mhm.
really great place to begin, and then can launch you into potentially better rates. But if you just go into it with a mindset of, I just don't need this anymore, I'm going to shop around, I don't even need to talk to somebody about me not wanting to have this anymore, that's fine
Yeah.
too.
And we will have a checklist of all the money moves. It's coming up. So subscribe to the friend letter, frugalfriendspodcast.com. You'll be the first to get it. And we hope that you'll take these savings from canceling something and put them towards your emergency fund if in week 1 you realize you need to bulk it up a little bit. So we'll also leave a link in the description to, again, our current favorite high yield savings account. All right. Let's get into our meal plans.
My favorite part of the week is eating.
In spring, we are full on. So I tried to go a little, I'm delving into grilling. Like, I
Mhm.
really want spring to be the spring of grill. And
You invited me to grill with you the other day, and I couldn't, and I was so heartbroken about it because
because grilling's
grilling,
like our
it is
thing.
our thing. I did COVID with Jen. We were quarantined buddies. We were parked in our RV in the back of Jen's house, your backyard. And we would just grill together pretty much every night. I mean, we would cook
Mhm.
together. It'd be like, what do you have? What do I have?
Yeah.
Let's eat dinner and have a dance party while the world collapses all around us. And now I have such fond memories of doing that. And it's been so long.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I digress,
Okay.
but grilling is our thing. And I was bummed
Yes.
to miss it.
So I wanted to marinate some chicken breasts, and I found this really great marinade from Eat the Gains. And it says it's for a grilled chicken thigh. It's a marinade for that, but I did breasts, and it was so
Mm,
good. It's a smidge Asian. It's got some ginger, some soy, but it didn't feel Asian. Like, I didn't need to have like rice and teriyaki stuff. Like, it didn't feel overtly Asian. So
okay.
we just had it with grilled onions, grilled peppers. I made a little like elbow pasta and put some a can of roasted tomatoes in it. Just total like whatever we had sort of thing.
A can of roasted tomatoes.
When I was a kid, one of my favorite things was like noodles and a can of tomatoes.
Oh,
The
wow.
roasted tomatoes, and then usually like a macaroni.
Yeah.
So that was a short pasta. I've just always like been into
Yum.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little lighter
Mhm,
than a spaghetti,
mhm.
like more of like a side dish for me.
Yeah.
So I do that. And that was a delicious marinade. I also took 2 recipes from JenEatsGood.com. I made her tortellini soup with chicken sausage. I'm very into chicken sausage right now. I love all types of chicken sausage. And so I buy it in bulk at Costco and I use it for different things. Normally, I'm just slicing it up and doing a sheet pan meal. Chicken sausage with broccoli and cauliflower or something. But I did try a little soup, that transition from like cold to warm weather. Our spring break was actually very cold.
Yeah.
And then the last one is a breakfast recipe. So Jen Eats Good went viral for her breakfast biscuits.
Ooh, yeah.
And so this one is a jalapeno cheddar breakfast biscuit. They are gluten-free. They are delicious. She has so many types.
Yeah.
Another good one, if you have everything bagel seasoning that you're like, I don't know what to do with this, she has a breakfast biscuit recipe that uses it. Yeah, so I love it. So I tried the jalapeno cheddar this week. It's gluten-free, so it's not going to be like a moist, soft biscuit,
Okay.
but it is good. So
Right.
you just have to know what you're getting into.
Right. Yeah. There's different types. We can enjoy the spectrum of biscuits. Jen Eats Good is a good one. And you eat good, but this is Jen with 2 N's.
Jen with 2 N's, and then the good has 3 O's. But if you search,
really?
right, you don't know, but like that is the URL and
Whoa,
her
yeah.
handle on social.
So Jen Eats Good. if you were to really like
Shout out
phonetically
to
sound it
Jen.
out.
You're not watching this, but
And
if you do,
you're
thank
gonna
you.
see a lot of her recipes come up for you. She's
Yes.
definitely a fave.
I have
so.
like 4 or 5 go-tos
Which
that I
is
just consistently cycle through.
Which is a really good hack. I don't know if I can say it that way, but if you're kind of in a slump, being able to find these accounts that you know you like, even if you remember, I liked this recipe, I wonder if they have anything else. That can be a way to find some new recipe ideas. And if you just want to follow one person and just make what they make, that can help too. Because we've noticed a lot of times their styles can be similar and the types of ingredients they use are similar. So that could even help in meal planning to make sure that you have ingredient overlap is by following some of these same people. Just a little side tip for you. All right. This week, I was joking with you, was another week where I haven't cooked for the month.
It's a season.
Yeah. But I did. In the last couple of days, I have cooked because I'm back home and my mother-in-law is gone. She left us to go back up north. She was staying here, her and my father-in-law were staying in their RV in our backyard. And whenever they do that, they cook for us. She cooks for us. And they've left now. So I'm on my own again. I've got to cook for myself. I have my niece in town, so I've had to consider foods that she's going to enjoy. Thankfully, she is a very good eater, not very picky. So we did some chicken salad sandwiches. I've probably linked a recipe for this in the past too.
You can't have too many chicken salad recipes.
I will say, I think I have chicken salad about once a week. Probably. You can attest to that.
You love mayonnaise. She gets the mega size mayonnaise at Costco, and I look at her and she's just like, her and Eric are just like so tiny, but they go through so much mayonnaise.
We do.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Mayo and some homemade sourdough bread and then a little bit of canned chicken in there and we're off to the races. Oh, and I love putting pickled jalapenos on my chicken salad sandwiches.
Oh, so good. Game changer.
That's how you elevate them.
With some chippies.
So you got to have the chippies.
You got to have chippies. If you love yourself, you have chippies with your sandwich.
I have the big old tub of mayo and I have the big jar of pickled jalapenos because I put that on everything. If I do loaded baked potatoes, if I do quesadillas, if I do chicken salad, sometimes even a regular lettuce salad, just go nuts with it.
Go nuts.
Okay. Then I made mahi bowls. So I had gotten a pack of mahi like frozen from Costco, I think. And so I've been trying different recipes with this frozen fish. And this was really good. I will say, if you look at the recipe, it looks like it's going to be time consuming. Here's my hack. Don't actually make your own pineapple or mango salsa. Not necessary. Get a jar of it. Get a jar of your favorite kind of like tropical, tangy, a little spicy salsa.
Newman's Own has a fantastic, I think it's mango salsa.
Okay. So that would be good. But this is essentially a can of black beans, some rice, the mahi, the spice mix that goes on it. That was really good. So don't skimp on that. Put the spice mix on it. But otherwise, this is a 15-20 minute meal to prep if you've got just kind of like the cans and jars of the different things. Then I made a bunch of rice, like a double batch of rice, so that I could use it the next day to go with the Marry Me chicken. This one went viral a couple of years ago. It's an oldie but a goodie. I really do love this. I will say the recipe I've linked called for double cream. So I think it's a recipe that was put out in like the UK where double cream is a thing and they're measuring things in grams and milliliters. So maybe fine. Yeah. You could if that works for you, great. Thankfully I just did a quick conversion thanks to Google on those ratios. But I thought, because my brain has been out here, you've seen it. I didn't look up like what double cream was. I should have known. It's like the equivalent of heavy cream. I bought
No.
cream cheese.
Ah!
You know what, though? We're not doing multiple trips to the grocery store. So I still did half cream cheese, half whole milk, and a little bit of butter.
It sounds good
And
to me.
it tasted phenomenal.
There you go.
Okay. So
There you go.
I didn't exactly follow this recipe that I've linked, but I am giving you all permission to fly fast and loose. Sometimes it might not be flying, it might be falling, but
We have really discovered that we need to start flying slow and tight. Really, we need to end our fast and loose era. But here we are. Here we
here
are.
we are putting cream cheese and things that call for heavy cream.
You
and
know what
still
recipe
loving
you
it.
should have included is Linda's ricotta cookie recipe. I
Okay,
am
next time.
Oh, I need that recipe. Those cookies were so good.
But the
And
best cookie I
it
have
is
had
so,
in my life, I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
Okay. Next
Keep
week.
following us because I'm going to give you that ricotta cookie recipe.
You need to be here for that.
Yeah. She flies fast and loose and it works for her. So,
We can't all be Linda.
and I know.
She flies so fast and loose, and it works swimmingly for her.
Yeah, she's where I get my who cares? Substitute it for something or make it up, throw in whatever you want. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but here I am. I'm just trying to break the rules. Linda's transcending the rules. I'm just here to break them.
Yeah.
And I didn't get sick, so as long as I don't get food poisoning, we good.
Yeah. All right. So now it's time for our listener question. I like this one. How do I control urges to buy stuff I don't really need? What a great question. Other than reading our book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke, we really wrote a whole book about it. But I think like at the core of this, saying no to ourselves is hard. It's meant to be hard. It becomes easier when you have this like deeper yes inside that is more important than the no on the outside. And so I think that is one of the big like impetuses for us to write our book. It was, how do we create that deeper yes? And what is going to motivate us? What doesn't go against our desires, but works with them, but gets a better result?
Yeah. So why are we so frugal? It's because we found our deeper yes. And so we've described frugality over the years as being good stewards of all of our resources. So not just money, but our time, our energy, our physical spaces, our natural resources. And so we desire wholeness in all of these facets. Not saying that we've arrived, that we are finally whole people, there's nothing more that we need or could be added, but aiming at wholeness and aiming at good stewardship of all of these pieces, recognizing that our finances are just one component of all of these other aspects of who we are, what makes us tick, what makes us come alive, what brings us joy. And so it is easier to say no to impulse purchases or buying things that other people want me to buy, or to reject some of that social influence when I've got a deeper understanding of what I want from my physical spaces, how I want to spend my time, how I want to spend my energy, how I want to spend my money, and how I want to engage in the natural resources available to me, recognizing that overconsumption is not where I want to find myself, and it's not necessary, and actually doesn't fuel me. It actually brings me down, brings more weight and overwhelm to me. So I think it's worth, though, describing kind of how we want to engage in these different categories of our personhood.
Yeah. So what does this look like for each of those things that Jill listed? So good stewardship of our money. So that would be using our money efficiently, growing our money instead of possessions, having security instead of anxiety. That's the traditional way frugality is looked at. And I think that's kind of one of the reasons we have this question, because we are conditioned as frugal people to be convinced that we should only buy what we need. And I think that that kind of messes us up because sometimes we can rationalize things and buy things that we like quote unquote need, but then also deprive ourselves of the things that we truly need, our higher needs. And we talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs a lot on the show and in the book. And these higher needs, community, belonging, sense of self, sense of purpose, they are human needs. Yet we feel guilty spending on them because they're not physiological needs. And I think when we can start to reframe and view really more things as wants and have that be empowering and view our higher needs as needs, then I think we can get more of our purchases into alignment too. So yeah, I think one of the examples I like to think about is one of our listeners emailed me and was like, I bought coats for my kids in July because, you know, I needed to be in control of something and I quote unquote needed it. And so that was a way to close the loop. And it was a rationalization to impulse buy something that was considered a need. And that's where it can trip us up. But then we have people email us and be like, how can I make frugality fun? It just doesn't feel fun. How do you like stick with it? Which is a mindset of like frugality being deprivation and that I can't spend on things that I love. So that's money. And then time. Time is our actual only non-renewable resource. You can make more money. It's difficult, but you can. You can create more space. You can create like more energy with sleep. You cannot ever create more time. So we want to use our time efficiently. We want to have flexibility. We want to be able to opt out of hustle culture. I don't think hustling is a bad thing, but we want to be able to opt out when it suits us.
Yeah. And when it comes to physical space, I think not wanting so much that we have to clean, take care of, maintain can be at least my approach. Of course, we can find ourselves in a variety of different living circumstances, right? There was a time that I did live in a vehicle and now I live in a home. So things, my acquiring of things has looked different, but still this aim of I don't want to collect a ton of stuff. I want to steward my physical space in a way that doesn't overwhelm me, that gives me an ability to make decisions, doesn't clutter my mind, doesn't stress me out. And so finding what that looks like for each of us individually of how can my physical space also support these other goals that I have rather than hinder or get in the way of them.
And then we have our mental and physical energy. So that is mentally like laying down these cognitive biases and these false beliefs that we have of things in general, not just money, but about our bodies, about our roles, about the world, all of that stuff. And then working with your brain instead of against it, understanding the psychology of why you do what you do. And instead of going against it and think you have to white knuckle your self-discipline, trying to grow and progress along with your psychology, working with your brain, not against it. And then your physical energy is getting sleep, like rest, and taking time for self-care, not hair appointments and nails, but like true good coping, healthy coping mechanism self-care.
I had a realization actually this morning about wanting to recognize when cognitive biases are at play, almost using that as a filter. This may not be for forever, right? There's so many things to consider when you're talking about making money decisions or time, energy, mental decisions. But I had a realization that actually in a business decision we're making coming up about kind of like who to choose in a certain way that we're moving forward with the business. And I realized that I have an anchoring bias to the first option that was presented to us. And I realized that that can be true for my purchasing as well, that if I maybe see an ad for a thing or I hear about it, more likely for me, I hear about it from a friend. I want that product that they've said is good. And it can take me a while to come around to. But what if I look up alternatives? What are the other options? I can kind of have this anchoring bias, which could cost me more or might not be the best decision because
Mhm.
it was just the first one. So just an example of some of the ways that we can be aware of what our brains kind of tend towards and the ways that we can bring them back to making more positive, beneficial decisions for us. Of course, when it comes to natural resources, we're talking about using better and fewer natural resources, being aware of what our consumption is doing not only to us, but the environment and community around us. We are in a huge buying quality over quantity. We're calling it an era, but I think it's just a lifestyle for us,
Yeah.
right? It's not something that we are going to eventually do away with. This is something we're talking about on the podcast, in the newsletter, here as well. How to spend guilt free on those quality pieces. Certainly, how do we find it free? How do we find it low cost? But eventually, if we are going to buy it new, how do we make sure that we are supporting businesses that are aware of the products that they're using, the sustainability of those things, and the people that they employ? Are they being taken care of? This is important to us, and we will spend on those things, but hopefully we are spending fewer or less often.
Yeah, it involves buying less. It
Mhm.
involves buying used. And so that when the time comes and it's necessary to pay more for something that is a better stewardship of natural resources, we can do it guilt free. Hopefully, it takes time to kind of hone that, like, not, maybe it doesn't feel like we're being most efficient with money if we're paying a higher price for something when we could technically get it at a lower price. But we are so frugal and we love frugality because it's not just a one trick pony. It encompasses all of these things and it is nuanced.
Mhm.
And it is a choose your own adventure too. If money right now is more important to you than sustainability, then you get to choose to lean into that. If vice versa, you can choose to lean in the other way. But none of them are at odds.
Mhm.
It's just this beautiful juxtaposition of values that we get to say yeses to, and it makes saying no to other things like no brainer.
A few examples. So for me, my physical space, I don't have a lot because I feel like I actually have conversations with my things where they are calling to me like,
All right, Marie
clean me,
Kondo.
fix me, maintain me, buy my replacement, right? It kind of feels like it's all vying for my attention. And I either have to be like, okay, right now, no, later, when am I going to do that? And it's overwhelming. So I have found that for me, it is best to just not have a lot of things that I have to dust, clean, maintain. So one of those categories is I don't have hardly any decor. You come into my house and the things that you're going to see are plants and functional items, dishes. I want them to be beautiful so I can have some of that form and function. But I don't have tchotchkes. It's just not important to me because that's how I feel like I am stewarding my physical space well so that my mental energy is freed up for other, to me, more important things. Also, for me, I think you've heard in one of our other videos about the 50 things we don't buy. I will not buy expensive concert tickets. It just, to me, isn't going to give me what I actually want out of that experience to spend over $100 on it. But I do value getting out of the house, doing fun things, spending time with people. So for me, those are going to the free concerts in my community, seeing local bands, local musicians, or going to local comedy shows. So we subscribe to our local comedy club, and we often get last minute emails about tickets that they didn't sell that they're just giving away for free. So these are the types of ways that I'm able to get out, have fun, still meet some of my higher needs, but not need to impulse purchase home decor or concert tickets. And I think that this is one of the, yeah, we're so frugal because it can be easier to when you understand what actually matters to you and what you actually deserve. I think so often we will buy these things, we will make the justifications and saying, I deserve this, or I've had a hard week, or let me just buy this. This is my way of coping, when we're missing out on what we actually deserve, that we actually deserve to be able to spend time with the people that we love, have money to be able to invest in our retirement, to be able to live in spaces that feel comfortable and peaceable to us. And so we are selling ourselves short when we opt for instant gratification and just impulse purchase whatever's right in front of us. If you want help, though, finding how do I spend in alignment with my actual worth and decrease some of that impulse spending, check out this next video.